Hello, welcome to Sheepdog Says. This week's been a pretty good one for video game announcements. I have seen three particular that I want to talk about in this video. I'm sure there's probably been plenty more of E3 coming up in a couple of weeks. But the ones that really stood out to me, I mean, you can guess what one of them's going to be, but I'll get to that one later. The main one that sort of surprised me at the moment, because no one was expecting it, was the Bethesda Fallout 76 title that they've announced with just teasers of the Please Stand By logo. I did a lot of reading about that today because I've played Fallout 3 and I've played New Vegas and I've played 4. I haven't played much of New Vegas at all, but I get the gist of the story, you know, where America went to war, got nuked to oblivion, lots of people hid out in vaults sold by Vault Tech. Some of them were legitimate vaults that people lived in, and most of them were experiments, and the aftermath of the world is kind of messed up and crazy and all, you know, all that jazz. But Vault 76 is apparently where the game is going to be set, and it's called Fallout 76. And we're all assuming, the internet at large, that it's not just a sequel to Fallout 4, because that would be obscene, it's too quick. Apparently Vault 76 gets mentioned quite a lot in Fallout 3 as being just outside of Washington and being one of the control groups where people were sent to just not be experimented on, but they were there to be kind of observed and observe the other people. Apparently had 500 people living in it. They were one of the first vaults after the nukes had gone off to leave. I think 20 years after the nuclear bombs were dropped, they had supposedly gone out into the wastelands and started life. So I imagine most of them would have been irradiated, surely, because 20 years isn't long enough for a nuke to subside. But that's all stuff that I've read on Reddit and I've gathered online myself, just doing a bit of learning. And I mean, it could be nothing to do with that at all, for all we know. There's lots of theories going around that it could be an MMO. It's going to have online multiplayer, according to Kotaku and Polygon and sites like that. So chances are that's true. Some people were saying they were hoping it was a VR game set in the Fallout universe, which would be interesting, but I don't think it would warrant the level of... I don't know, it's hard to say whether you'd release it with that much fanfare if it was going to be still a relatively niche thing. I suppose you'd never get it out of the niche unless you did big reveals like this, so it's almost hopeful that it is one, just because to see Bethesda release a big VR game would be awesome, but I just don't think they will, and I'd never play it if they did because it makes me feel ill when I use it. I saw a lot of people say they don't want an MMORPG of Fallout, which surprises me, but I guess there's probably valid reasons. Maybe they think it wouldn't work, maybe they think Bethesda wouldn't deliver it. It's more likely that it's going to be either a sort of a side game, a spin-off like New Vegas, or some people are even saying it could end up just being an app, which seems like it'd be silly if it was. I mean, the Fallout Vault game that you get where you build your own vault and you send people out into the wasteland is enough. You don't really need another game on mobile. That would be a really underwhelming thing to do such a big reveal about. But no, I'm quite excited to see what's going to come next. I know Anna's excited, and I think she'll be, hopefully she'll be pleased and have something good to play on when the time comes. But part of me feels like, whilst it feels like it's been ages since Fallout 4, I suppose we celebrated our 200th episode by doing a 24-hour playthrough of it. So it was 100 episodes ago, which means it was 2 years then, that would give or take, because you're coming up to episode 300 of Mature Gamer. So I suppose they could have been working on something with the same engine, which is what makes me think it'd be more like a New Vegas style mid-game sequel. But I know nothing beyond the fact that there's lots and lots of storyline hidden in the other games about Vault 76. So it seems a little bit too on the money and a little bit too on the, to pick that number of all numbers and to put that much effort into mentioning this other vault surely shows some sort of plan that's been going on in the background, which if it is, that makes me feel quite excited about the idea. If they've put story as far back as Fallout 3 and they've been writing it in the background all this time, then this feels like it would be quite a rich and good story, because you don't spend that long writing a story or having it tick over or threading it in and putting that stuff out there unless you're going to actually do something with it. The alternative would be that they flicked through their manual of lore and just went, oh, Vault 76, let's just do a story about that. And then they've churned it out in a week. But I'd like to think they've actually been laying those seeds in the background for a while, and that this is something that will be good out of it as a result. The other game I'm quite excited about that just came out of nowhere for me. I mean, I haven't been looking at news for these games, but it might be that this has been a long time coming, but they're making a Lego DC supervillains game set in obviously the Lego Batman world and all the other Lego Batman and DC superhero Lego games. In this one, the Justice League is entrapped by the Justice Syndicate, who then seem ultra sinister, and all the villains are basically against them. I haven't read too much. The plot was a bit thin online, but I'm guessing that they probably start kicking heads in and taking over people's patches and being evil and monopolising the evil. And you get to create your own DC villain and then join the Joker and the rest of his gang in basically fighting the Justice Syndicate, taking them all down and saving the Justice League. I'd like to think that once you save the Justice League, you'd still get to beat them, because surely that's the fun, really, of being the villain in Lego, to then go toe to toe Batman and Superman and that. But DC's so strong on the villain side of things, and their heroes are so cool when they are villains as well. To be honest, like the bloody hell, I've drawn a blank. The Justice spin-off, I've completely forgotten. I'm outraged. It'll come to me later on, where Superman's evil because he's so grieved by the injustice Gods Among Us. He's so grief-stricken by the murder of Lois Lane that he basically becomes a zero-tolerance tyrant who takes over the world and literally outlaws all criminals and all killings and everything, and becomes a vicious dictator who just kills anyone who's bad. That led to one of the greatest DC stories ever, because Batman didn't like it. Batman was like, you can't start killing people just because you disagree with them, even if they're bad. You should be locking them up and letting them serve time and trying to bring them back into society and all of these things. And it's interesting how it all divides, and different characters become villains and villains become heroes and so forth. So DC's always been really, really good at that. Yes, this is a Lego game, so it's not going to go as deep as Injustice Gods Among Us does, but it's still going to be epic being able to play as the villains, because, again, as I say, the villains are their best characters most of the time. This is why it's so... I mean, I'm going off on a bit of a tangent, but that's why it's so disappointing for me that the Superman, DC... Sorry, the Justice League films that DC are bringing out at the moment, they had Superman v Batman and just had blooming Doomsday in the background. They've just done Justice League and they had blooming Darkseid's henchman as just a background villain. Wonder Woman's villain was actually her own villain, Ares, but it was still bad. That was the best one. That was done fine. But the point is, they should have been really, really stressing these villains. And having their own Lego game is ace. It's going to be cool. I'm going to get it. I love their games. I feel like I didn't play the Lego Marvel Superheroes 2 game enough. I got it. I played it. I did a few missions and then I've just been sidetracked. But the first one was amazing. I love these games. They're always great. It's great getting all the characters. They're very well made. Lastly, the one you'd have all guessed, the one that's obvious, the one I'm definitely going to be excited about. They revealed the trailer for Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu or Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, depending on which version you get. The new Nintendo Switch Pokemon release, basically. I'm slightly... a millimetre disappointed that it wasn't the announcement of Generation 8 and the new generation of Pokemon in a new region with new characters and new rules and new stuff to learn and that kind of thing. But I was very relieved to find that's coming out next year. They've already said that's coming out sometime in 2019. It'll be on the Switch. More details to come, blah, blah, blah. So I'm thinking, okay, I can wait. This is something separate. This is something new. Now, again, when I read about this, I thought, it sounds a bit meh. It's just a bit of an extra. It's not the main game. I'm not interested. They're basically getting it so that you can play the original Pokemon Red or Blue, but they're called Pikachu and Eevee, and you're basically playing it on your Switch in 3D. All the moves have been nicely put out, so the Pokemon fire out their moves, their water out the cannons and stuff like that. It looks fantastic. It looks beautiful. But I kind of thought it was a bit of it's a gimmick to, you catch your Pokemon in Pokemon Go, you can transfer them into this and you can play them, which is good. That's something that I obviously would like. But I thought, well, how much playability is it going to have? It's just the old story with a random park that I can send my Pokemon to. But then I watched the trailer properly, because I'd only been reading about it at this point because I was at work. When I got to my lunch break, I watched the trailer. And somebody basically pointed out that, first things first, you can put your Pokemon in it and you can play with them, but it doesn't affect Pokemon Go. You can't send them back by the looks of it, we think. When you're playing it, the thing that really ignited a flame in my sort of like excitement was that it had like a kid playing it and moving around, doing the stuff, and then someone else come in, a parent. I think the kid's mum comes in, sits down, they shake the controller. Suddenly they're both running around in the caves, in the forests, in the fields and so forth. You walk up to a trainer and you're battling them, and you've both got a Pokemon jump out, and you both pick what moves you do, and you both attack it. Team Rocket are attacking, you're doing that story, you're both attacking it, you're both fighting back. Pokemon appears. They're not random encounters anymore. They're just there on the map, and you run and you hit into them, and then they're there. That is great because you don't have to grind. I thought it was a watered down game at first, but it feels like they've cut out all the arduous bits. They've made it more entertaining for like modern gamers, modern children, that sort of thing. Me and Busco can sit there now, walk into a cave, see, I don't know, Chansey appear, both just shake and throw our Pokeballs at once. Even if they hit at the same time in the video, it looks like you both catch it, you're both on the same team, it's all good. Yeah, it just looks like we can play the entirety of Pokemon Red or Blue together from start to finish on a TV at the same time without having to kind of take it in turns or compromise in any way. It looks like we can catch all 151 Pokemon. They're all going to be involved. If we're missing any, we can send them from Pokemon Go, which gives us an opportunity to boost things up. If I have a couple of multiples that are particularly good, I can stick them in it. Interestingly, the one problem I can foresee is that there is a special event Pokemon that you get for having the game, which you get. So you can transfer Pokemon from your phone to your Switch and look at one there, but your Switch can send you a present basically onto your game, which is like an incentive for doing it, I suppose, a reward for being a committed player. Now, apparently, according to rumours, that is going to be a Gen 8 Pokemon. So a Pokemon we have never seen before that won't be released until next year in next year's game. Now, in Pokemon Go, that means that won't come out in Pokemon Go for another 2+ years. But they're saying that if you get the Switch game, they'll let you have that as a prize, which I'm guessing, my personal bet is that it'll be a new Eevee and it'll be a dragon type Eevee. I got in so many debates about this, again, in my lunch break on Reddit, because people were saying, oh, I think it'll be this, I think it'll be that. And I said, but it won't be any other type of Eevee, because Eevees only come in special types. So special types like your fire, your water, your grass, your lightning, your fairy, leaf, and the other one I've forgotten is ice, I think. There's psychic and there's dark. They're the special ones. Then there's physical ones, which are fighting, bug, steel, rock, and so forth. You get the point. Ghost. So I'm saying it can't be any of them, because Eevees never evolve into ghosts or any of those things. That's just a rule they've always followed. So the only other type left that they've not ever done is dragon. So it seems to me like that'll be the new Eevee they've been hinting at and suggesting is going to come out at some point soon. They've done all these teasers where they've had the Pokemon coming up for the film, and they've always got a black box next to Eevee to show that they're hiding something, which we're all assuming is going to be shown in the film. So my thought is, if that's the big one they're introducing in the film that comes out this year, and then the game's coming out a couple of months later, kids are going to want that. They're not going to want to wait another year for the Gen 8 game to come out. They're going to want that as soon as possible. So if it's in this Switch game, and then you can transfer it into Pokemon Go, that's awesome, because then it means I get an extra Pokemon that I can't get any other way. That's special. But then I suddenly realised, if I'm sharing this game with Bosco, the good thing to do is to let him have the special Pokemon on his Pokemon Go account. That's the nice thing to do. The wise thing to do is to just keep it for myself, because he doesn't care that much, and I don't know. But I've already said to him, oh, you know, there's a special one in it, what should we do? And it's too far ahead to really care. I know at the time he'll want it, but I need to figure out a way. I'm hoping that it will just let any phone account that connects to it have the gift or something like that, which would be cool. That seems like it'd be open to a bit of abuse, but I don't know. I'm hoping we'll both get one, or if I can trade it to him, that'd be fine. I just want it in the decks. I'm also nervous that at the moment we're at about 380, and this one will be like 900 and something in the Pokedex. I don't want to have this massive 4-page gap where hundreds of Pokemon haven't been discovered yet, because they've decided to give us one on a special offer kind of thing, because that would be mad if they did that as well. But no, I'm thinking about things that aren't important. I'm not really that fast. If he genuinely wants it, I'll let him have it. I'm not that petty, but I kind of wanted it in my one. There were loads of people moaning at the thought that they'd have to pay to get this Pokemon, and I was pointing out to them, you're not paying to get it. You'll get it in 2 years' time when it comes out in Gen 8, when they release the Gen 8 Pokemon. You're not having to, you're not having to wait any more or less if the game didn't exist. You'd have to wait till Gen 8 if it were. But what they're saying is, here's a fancy reason to get something out of it if you're enjoying both of them, which I think is a cool thing. They could have easily hidden other Pokemon. It is only Gen 1 that's going to be in Pokemon Let's Go. There's all sorts of rumours that it might be expanded upon later on. I imagine if it does that well, they wouldn't expand on it. They'd just release more games and connect them together and let you move the Pokemon across. I'm still slightly kind of like, I wish they were doing another thing. But I think this is a good halfway house while we wait. This seems like it's what Pokemon Stadium and Pokemon Coliseum and Pokemon Snap and all those other games could and should have been, and now it finally is. So that's exciting, that's cool. But that's 3 games, genuinely 3 games that I will play this year, assuming they're all out this year. I don't know when Fallout's out, but there's also a Pokemon Quest game that's out tomorrow or today or sometime this week, so anyone with the Switch can play that. But I read the dubious line, free to start, which suggests that they'll let you have a little taste of level 1, and then they'll make you do all sorts of paying and jumping through hoops to play parts 2, 3, 4 and so forth. The graphics on that look really basic. They're all little cubic Pokemon, so again, I don't expect much from that. It seems like it's just a side game thing for anyone who's into it. If you've got a Switch now, why not? But I really, really, really want a Switch. I'm actually getting frustrated with myself because there's been loads of times I could have probably sorted one out for like presents for Christmas or whatever, and I didn't do it. I invested this cryptocurrency in XRP, Ripple currency, hoping it would jump to the point where I could buy a Switch, and it hasn't. It's just stayed at exactly the same amount I put into it. There was a point when it did get to something like $4.20, and if I'd have cashed out there and then I'd have got a Switch, but I missed the boat and it dropped to like $3.50 and it wasn't enough. And I thought, no, I'll wait for it to go back up, and it dropped back down and it dropped back down. And now I'm just sat there thinking, I've not made a loss. There's no point in me cashing out now, but I need it to go whoop to like $4.50 again, and I can sell it all, buy the Switch and be done. Hopefully that'll happen by November when this Pokemon game's out, but I'd love it to happen sooner because I kind of want Pokken Tournament, I want Mario Odyssey, I want Zelda, all those games look awesome. And it's weird thinking there's all these games out that I really, really want, or coming out that I really, really want, and I can't access them, I haven't got them yet. And it's like, I'm normally the one who doesn't play games, but there's so many out at the moment. This is a really rich period of games. I also want Detroit Become Human. I've not had a chance to even go near that yet because I'm obviously saving up. There's so much stuff out at the moment, and yeah, it's awesome. I'm quite excited thinking they've got Red Dead 2 coming out at some point. There's loads. I feel like I'm going to be a hardcore gamer again for a little bit, and it'll be like the first 100 episodes of Mature Gamer, and then it'll probably all run out of steam and there'll be nothing again for 2 years, and I'll get to episode 600 and be doing another video like this going, oh, it looks really good. 600 episodes would be mad. Anyway, that's your lot. I've actually done some gaming content on YouTube as part of someone who's done Mature Gamer for 6 years now. I should do more of these videos really because it's something that I'm really interested in. I just don't have the spare time, I guess, unless it fits around the kids or it entertains my wife, which I think Detroit would and some of these other games would. But yeah, I'm going to make an effort on this to get more into it. And who knows, maybe I'll do more videos about it. This has been a long one already, so thanks for watching. Subscribe if you like what you've seen. Watch more videos. The past 3 have had a bit of a dip because it's Bank Holiday weekend. They've not really been seen as much. I'm a little bit disappointed because I think I did a really good one for the Comic-Con. I really enjoyed the zombie one. And yesterday's one I watched back and thought, that wasn't as bad as I thought. That's had some good feedback as well. So if you haven't seen them yet, go back and watch them because, I don't know, I feel like sometimes I do quite good videos and I release them at the wrong time or whatever. And it's like, damn, if only the stars had aligned. Anyway, thanks for watching and I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.